All right. Back on with Dave Falco, the Falconator. So we've been to some pretty cool places, man. The last time we were together, like in person, was that at Skywalker Ranch? Has it been that long? No, we must have
Well,
been together at Facebook.
we've been there together just a couple times, but that it was pre-COVID, man. So it's been a while. But yeah, I think we went up there. In fact, I think it's still on my workplace profile at work.
There
It's
you
that
go.
picture for me. It's at the Skywalker Ranch in front of
That
the
Type
engine.
3. Yeah, we were
Yeah,
in front of the Type 3. Yeah, it's good times.
yeah,
So one of the things that I'm gonna let you have the air. Well, one of the things that you're really passionate about is communication, how to communicate. And I think that's so important for folks to hear because as you and I come out of law enforcement background, so when we communicated, if we communicated on the air, it was a certain way. On a radio, it was a certain way. When we communicated in court, it was a certain way. On paper, it was a certain way. But you have a unique view that we should be getting out there more and talking about more. And I'll let you take it from there, but I really do want to hear more about how do you think we should be communicating? And this may be not just for transitioners, but people who have already transitioned. So this is great.
yeah. No, absolutely. I have the phrase of write less and sell more. So that's something I've kind of had an adage that I've made up. So you're welcome to use it, free, no charge. But no,
Put a
what
little
it
by
means.
Dave Falco underneath that.
No, write less. So the first part of that is write less. So one of the things, and this is my own thing, so I'm not saying it's an issue for all people coming out of public safety or law enforcement. But in my particular case, we were, like you said, the radio traffic is very, certain way. So if you're running after somebody, you don't want to just grab the key to mic and then just be yelling because you're going to be, the subject of jokes for years to come
Yes,
because you're
right.
out of breath. So, you grab it and you go, and then you take your breath and then you just talk like you're calm and you're just sitting in your car and you're chasing somebody. But the same rule applies for writing. So like, report writing is a big thing, and we're not going to go into report writing in law enforcement because that's a whole other thing. But, we tend to write long to include, the facts, obviously, and, the observations and the objective findings that we find to make the arrest and to make the case for court and things like that. But really, when I came into the private sector and started writing, incident reports or even emails, summaries, talking to executive leadership or admins or people that were going to help me do my job, and hopefully I was helping them do their job. I just got lambasted for just writing way too long. So like I learned to just write short and sweet, the most impact with the fewest words possible. And that's really something I'm constantly learning and working on, and it's a work in progress. And I think I've come a long way, but always learn more about it and how to shorten it up and sweeten it up because people, I mean, time is a luxury that a lot of people don't have nowadays. I mean, we're so busy. We're doing everything. We're working. We got families. We got jobs. We got loved ones and friends, and people's time's important to them. So if you can just get on and get off with what you just need to do, and then save it for in-person meeting or a virtual meeting or whatever you're going to do to get the long-winded part out, that can come. But yeah, the writing, just write less, and then the sell more part of it is just selling, constantly selling yourself. I mean, that's big, especially at the beginning, coming out of, public safety and going into, the private sector. You really have to learn to sell yourself. And, that's not easy to do, not for someone like me personally, but just for someone coming out of that, because it's always about the team. It's always about the squad or the engine crew or, whatever it is. It's not about me, it's us. And so you really have to learn to sell yourself in resumes, but then also once you get to somewhere and you land a job, keeping that job and selling yourself and selling the value of what you're doing. And then obviously selling ideas because, when you get into the private sector, money is a premium, right? You're not going to get everything you want. You have to make
Right.
cases for it. You have to show value, why this is going to work. And so selling is a huge part of it. And again, I'm no salesman. I would never think of myself as one, but you have to be, I think, in some respects. So.
With folks on their resumes, less is more, right? I mean, we could talk about. I was just talking with somebody about his resume, and he'd been in law enforcement 25 years, and I said, what would happen if you put the last 10 years on a resume and you left it at that? Because how many employers are looking out past 10 years? They're not. What do you think about that? Do you think we should be, kind of bulletizing? And we'll talk about resumes, and then I want to talk about, business communications. But on a resume, you think less is more?
Yeah, absolutely. And bullet points. Don't get so focused in on the details. If you have some certifications, those are good, but don't list everything and anything that you're certified on, because quite frankly, the person reading it's not going to know what it is.
Yeah, but I know I can disassemble a sniper rifle. Isn't that relevant to Facebook?
Dude, that is an awesome skill. I'd love to talk to you offline about that, but no, that's not going to sell you anywhere at Facebook or probably most.
No, or anybody. Nobody really needs that unless that's the job that you're going to do in the private sector. Now, how about business communications? How many times have you gone back and forth with an admin? Because I know you work on the EP side, where you're trying to coordinate something, or they have questions about something, and do you have a set amount of time before you I'm just going to pick up the phone and call you? Because we're missing each other. How do you judge that? How do you gauge that?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It's case by case basis on who you're dealing with and what you're dealing with. But we're in the business, I think, of managing anxiety in security a lot of the times, because yes, you're dealing with problems and you're responding, but that's kind of a given. You should be doing that anyway. If something goes down, that's serious, whether it's an incident, an active shooter, employee theft, whatever, you're expected to perform, obviously. But it's looking at the whole thing. It depends on who it is. So like with EAs, like executive admins for, the leadership staff, I mean, it's like their time is valuable. They've got a lot of stuff that they're doing, they're tracking on, which, we all are, but I try to be sensitive to that. So it's one and done usually. And if there's a back and forth with a question, I'll just say, yeah, hey, do you want a quick call? We can get this resolved, or we can get this answered, or I'll set up 15 minutes or a half hour, whatever you need. But yeah, I try not to go back and forth with emails, especially once questions start coming into play, because then it's just, you might as well just set up something and get aligned.
Yeah, get on a call. You guys have great tools at Facebook, as I'm very familiar with, to communicate even through Messenger and things like that. So yeah, I'm a big fan of. You have to meet people where they are. I mean, we all know people, even when you have all these great tools to message others, they still send me an email, or just call me. And so I think to some extent you have to your point, every person may be a little bit different. You have to kind of figure out who they are and how they want to talk, and then you got to meet them there. These are great points. I'll leave you with the last word on communication, Dave. How do you want people to think as they're transitioning into the private sector about communication? And it could be communication with a recruiter, communication with somebody that they know on the inside, somebody in their network. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not a good communicator, definitely want to work on those skills. And it doesn't come naturally to some people. And it depends on who you are and what type of personality you are. But I would say in regards to communication, just be open, because the way you communicate to one person, may be totally different to how you communicate with another. And somebody's going to give you feedback on that communication. You got to be receptive and not be, defensive or blow it off, or, you want to be the subject matter expert. You want to be the person to go to when things go bad, but you also want to be that, person that has that, calm head, can lead projects through, and can just answer the questions. So.
That's great, Dave, and something that even I am still working on. I know you said you were working on it too. It's something that you're going to get hammered on, and we constantly need to be mindful of that. Great conversation, brother. I really appreciate your time, and we've done some really cool things together, and that maybe for another show. But I do respect you deeply, and I miss seeing you in person because of the COVIDs.
Same here, brother. Love you.
All right, man. Love you too. Take care.
Take care. See ya.